Hello, everybody, and welcome to my NASCAR My Driver Series, a brand new series on the channel that will hopefully lead this channel for a long time to come here now as we are ready to get racing and set our journey into the world of NASCAR in the top 3 series, aiming to get a debut in the Truck Series. We're going to send it off into the first scenario of the episode.
Hey Gary, welcome to the team. It's an odd scenario, but our regular driver isn't feeling well. All we ask is you simply bring the car home in one piece, and thanks for stepping in for us today.
Absolutely, thanks for taking a chance on me. I'll see what I can do. Here we are at Circuit de France in Spa, Belgium here, and you're wondering why are we in Spa? So this storyline, I am in Formula 2, and well, this weekend we are also at Spa for Formula 2 on the Sunday race. But this is Saturday, where one of the drivers in the NASCAR Euro Series actually had fallen ill for the weekend, and I was actually at an opportunity to fill in for that driver here, as I would get some experience under my belt in some stock car racing. We've never done stock car racing here, trying to make a world in open wheel and move our ranks up into Formula 1, and right now we're in Formula 2, a step below Formula 1 here in this My Driver Series, as immediately I would find a love for stock cars here as soon as I was behind the wheel of the super late model here now, as we were making some good time here starting at the back. Our first experience in this stock car, I knew it wasn't going to go well, it wasn't going to be smooth, it was going to be tough, and this car was an absolute handful to drive here now as I was scrapping it out with a bunch of drivers around myself. There were some big names in this race as it was an international special event here actually for the Euro Series, where we brought over names like Kyle Busch, Ty Gibbs as well, so it was a very stacked and competitive field, and I struggled. I definitely wasn't moving my way forwards here. Now, as you can see me losing some ground here on the opening lap of this GP, and I just continued to fall down the order here in the later stages of this opening lap here as I was slipping and sliding even on a straightaway. This car was an absolute handful to drive here now, as you see me make a big move here up the inside of that number 9 now, and we complete the pass there through this final chicane, and we move up a few more positions, but we're still in like the mid 30s here now as we come through a little bit later on the second lap. You can see an absolute handful I've got here on my hands as we go down into this long sweeping right hand slow carousel now, as I would make the biggest mistake of the day so far now, as I actually lose the car, loop it around here, and we go spinning off the curb there. Sorry about that, this thing is an absolute handful. Something we're not used to. We're used to, high downforce, a lot of power, and a very good braking, and we're getting none of that other than the power in this super late model. So it was a rough one. We ended up coming through to cross the line in last place, but I think we learned something important. We found a love for stock car racing in our F2 career.
Certainly could have been worse, but you brought it home. Hope you had fun.
That was an absolute blast. I think I know what I want to do.
Located in the Ardennes countryside, Spa has been hosting races for almost a century, and it's revered by drivers and fans alike. So it's a joy to be here today as we prepare for the next thrilling installment in the Formula 2 race calendar.
We've got Gary Owen on the grid. Hey Gary, you filled in yesterday in the NASCAR Euro Series. What was the experience like?
Yeah, Justin, honestly, it was awesome. It was a blast. I enjoyed every second of it. I didn't do well. I spun out, but it was a completely new learning or experience for me, obviously. So I think I learned a lot about myself and a lot about racing in general with just that one experience. And I think, honestly, I have to think a lot about next year, because that was some of the most fun I've ever had in a race car. So I cannot wait to see what the future holds, and maybe a move over to that.
That is amazing. Good luck out there today.
Alright, buddy. Keep it clean on the start. There's lots of time to make up ground here.
10-4. I'll be aggressive, though, here, trying to gain some positions, but we'll see what happens. I'll do my best.
We've made it to the grid at Spa, and it's lights out, and we're underway as Ben Daly gets off the grid well and leads the way over Areva, trailed by Martinez and Broadbent into turn 1. It's a great launch for Owen, who started at the back due to a grid penalty. He's going to dive deep into turn 1, and he's already gained several positions. Owen is going to be 4 wide as he tries to get clear on the run to Eau Rouge. It's going to be close, still 4 wide, and oh no, there's a huge crash. Multiple cars go airborne, and that is a massive hit for Gary Owen. Breaking news now in the F2 scene today, Canadian rookie Gary Owen is set to miss the remainder of the season due to injuries sustained in his massive crash at Spa. We hope for a speedy recovery and can't wait to see him back on the grid.
Welcome to the team, Gary. You're taking a risk leaving the open wheel scene, but we're ready to give you a shot. Everything feel okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Legs feel good, so let's see what we can do.
Awesome. Put a couple laps in and see what we got.
All right. Hello, everybody, again. Welcome to the NASCAR My Driver Series. There's your introduction into how have we gotten over here in the United States as a Canadian that was trying to make it in the open wheel scene in Formula One. Well, we had a big crash there in the Formula 2 race in Spa. It took us out of the season. And of course, just the day before on Saturday, we had our start in the NASCAR Euro Series, where I quickly found a love just for the way these stock cars drive. And I wanted to take a risk while we had the opportunity before going too far into our open wheel career to jump over into the NASCAR scene. And here we are making some laps in this number 77 BWT truck that we'll be driving this season. And overall, it went good. I was happy with the laps I was making here at the Charlotte Roval, and it sounded like our crew chief was happy as well.
That was good. I think we're ready for Daytona.
I agree, man. That was a blast. We have made it to Daytona for our debut weekend here in the NASCAR Truck Series. Now, along with this My Driver Series, it's not just focused on myself, it's focused on other content creators that will be in this series as well. We're going to take an opportunity real quick while I was getting out for our practice session here with some other drivers to go over the content creators and as well as the schedule here in this NASCAR My Driver Series. You should see a list on your screen of some of the main content creators that will play a role in the Truck Series and Xfinity Series this season. You got drivers like David Schildhaus, Michael Cozy Jr. They will be Xfinity drivers, so you will be just touching upon them this season. You'll see their highlights in the Xfinity Series races. You got Joey Stone, you got my good friends of Jay Cook, Matt O'Brien as well. You got Drive Through or Davin Cornelius. You got Frozen Toes 24. You got IDK player who's not on a full-time capacity in this first season. He'll be on a part-time capacity as I'm trying to, mix it up a little bit here. So you're going to see some part-time drivers that transition into full-time drivers. You got Michael Marutz, you got Moonhead, Travis Brown as well. As you see the rest of the list, there's also going to be a super late model series that we'll be following along this season that you guys want to stay tuned for, where I'll have people a part of the community in there and some content creators as well, like Frozen Toes. I'm going to try and get like Spartan Warrior in there, maybe What If Racing, a bunch of other people to work their way through this NASCAR journey along with us. So there's going to be roster moves every season, and you're going to see these content creators continue to move up the ranks, just like myself as we were getting some draft practice here in Daytona now in this nice little pack of cars. Highly recommend if you want to be in the super late model series as a community member, stay tuned for the in-between stage break that I created myself that I can't wait for you guys to see here. Now, as I will touch upon the schedule when we actually get to the races, there is some differences from real life years and practice. We actually had a run-in with Davin Cornelius, who got into the back of Jay Cook there in that Taco Bell truck as there was a big stack up, and that was the end of practice for us. We had to bring it to the pit lane. And then we would get ready for qualifying here in this BWT number 66 truck. We actually had to change our number because David Cornelius is now number 77. So we were 77 in testing, but we switched to number 66 for the actual season. So we get underway for our qualifying attempt here in Daytona. Obviously, you're just full throttle the whole time, and we were just hoping for the best. We come through to cross the line, and we actually qualified in 22nd place here in Daytona. So I was happy with that. And now it is time to go off to our first ever race in Daytona. Daytona International Speedway holds a lot of history, opened back in 1959, and we hope to add our name to that list here tonight as we get on the grid and ready to go green here. Now, I mentioned we were going to talk about the schedule. So on iRacing with AI, they currently don't have every NASCAR track with AI. They have the majority, a good 3/4 of the schedule, but there's only 22 races in the Truck Series schedule. There's not a lot of racing for us to go through this season. Let me know if you want to see 2 races per per episode for Trucks in Xfinity, or 1. It would, of course, differentiate the length of this opening 2 series for us pretty quick, but there you see the schedule on your screen as it's going to scroll through. We got the Daytona Oval, then we got the Daytona Road Course. It goes through a lot of the Rio schedule. We don't have Bristol Dirt, so it'll be Bristol Pavement, but there's some notable add-ons here. We have Road Atlanta, we have Chicagoland, we have Kentucky, we got Rockingham, South Boston Speedway, as well as your normal kind of thing to end out the season. So there's a handful of tracks in there that are going to be different to the schedule compared to real life, but then the playoffs are pretty well the same. We do have Homestead Miami there, where the Truck Series did not go, I don't believe, in 2021, but then of course we ended at Phoenix. So for the first few seasons, this career mode is going to be relatively legit to the Rio schedule, and then things are going to start to change with the schedule, as well as the driver rosters as we continue to move up. So it takes place, this does, in 2021, but obviously we're still going to be using the 2021 Cup cars all the way until we actually get to the Cup Series ourselves. So it's a weird storyline, but it'll end up working in the end, and hopefully by the time we get to the Cup Series, we will have next gens available for AI racing, or we'll have to stick with Gen 6 for the time being. We'll see what happens as we're ready to go green for our first ever debut here in the Truck Series, as the pace truck is off and we're ready to go green here from Daytona International Speedway. As the green flag is out and we are underway here, you're going to see plenty of out of the truck replay cameras all episode long, as well as all series long, as we continue to move our way up the ranks. Now, of course, when it comes to iRacing, you're logged into the cockpit, so I want you guys to still be able to see what's going on throughout the race. And we're not just going to be focusing on myself. You know, in this race here, Daytona, it's not going to be focused on everybody else specifically, because we're all in a big pack, so when you see me, you're going to see everybody else. But in other races, we're going to be focusing, similar to my Formula 1 My Driver Series, we're going to be paying a lot of attention to what's going on with other people in the race and not just myself, because in reality, who cares if it's what's going on exactly with myself in these races here when we have other content creators up here in the mix. You got Davin Cornelius, Michael Roots up there as well, just in front of us. Travis Brown, third lane on the top. You usually see him be very aggressive, and it looks like he was already trying that now. It was John Hunter Nemechek leading the way on this first and opening lap. We know he's going to be one of the favorites all season long, and I expect it to be a tough fight against him. And we don't come into Daytona expecting to win our very first legitimate stock car race, where we didn't come in as a relief driver, so I didn't know what to expect, and I was hoping for the best. And the goal here is to just try and play it safe, and of course we're following the real life race format. There is stages in these races where I have to manually throw cautions myself for that, but stage 1 completes at the conclusion of lap 12 of this race, and then stage 2 completes at the conclusion of lap 24. Now, the AI are really weird when it comes to slowing down under caution at plate tracks, because they're in such a big pack, so I actually have to delay the timing of the caution to get the best product possible of the AI slowing down. But it is pretty much guaranteed that under caution, some of the AIs are going to run into each other and get some damage. But at the end of this race, it's going to be a little bit separated and a little bit weird. But right now, you can see in the early parts of this race on lap 4, I'm on the inside line playing it safe. The car, or the truck, felt really, really good, but I was just hoping for the best, making sure I don't get myself caught up into any issue. So I wasn't really trying to force the issue here, but personally on iRacing, I'm a lot more comfortable on the higher lanes. I don't like to be on the inside no matter what, so I tried to get up here in this middle lane and make some time. And we found ourselves now on lap 6, 3 wide middle here. You see Joey Stone on the outside there, and that number 29 truck got help from the 98 of Grant Enfinger there, as we are just holding our line, hoping for the best here. It is so intense, even in single player. I found it more intense than online, because the plate racing was so much more realistic and just better, obviously, here now as we continue to just hope for the best. Now, as you see Joey Stone struggling to make up some ground right there, and eventually we would find our way past him, and we would just continue moving our way forwards. We actually got up towards the top 10 here later in this first and opening stage. There's only a handful of laps to go at this point here, as John Hunter Nemechek, he was really making a statement. He was out in front and controlling every aspect of this race here in just the opening few laps. I get aggressive here, make a move 3 wide to the outside of Jordan Anderson in the 3 truck on lap 10, 3 laps to go in stage 1. It does not work whatsoever, but I was happy to try it now and get some learning experience. There is actually tagged the wall on the exited turn 4. You got to be really careful when you're 3 wide on the top there, as Michael Roots is going to look to my inside as well here as we come through the trial. Now, as I'm going to try and move that rear view mirror, by the way, if I can, possibly, because it is a little bit too high to go with my video banner graphic I have there at the top of the screen. I was kind of happy that I made that move and started falling back though, because I know when that caution comes out as we come through to the very final lap now of stage one, I know when that caution comes out, the AI go crazy when they have to slow down. So I did not even want to be in this pack. At other tracks, I'm not concerned whatsoever. But at plate tracks, I'm definitely concerned about how that's going to be with the AI. There you see though, on the inside in row 3, you got Matt O'Brien, a good friend of mine, trying to mix it up, and then Jay Cook on the outside with Davin Cornelius, as well as Travis Brown behind him. But as John Hunter Nemechek and Sheldon Creed leading the front 2 lanes here through the trial, it's going to be John Hunter at the line winning stage 1, picking up a playoff point. And then, like I said, I would wait. I was looking at the standings, make sure I saw what the top 10 was, and then we're going to throw the caution about midway through turns 1 and 2. And I have to manually do points myself because iRacing doesn't have a system to do stage points or playoff points. Now, they do have a normal point system here. As you can see, there was a big stack up. This is what I was talking about. There was a huge stack up on the back straight away. A bunch of trucks made some contact, got some damage. We had a couple trucks stay out. John Hunter Nemechek, as well as Sheldon Creed stayed out, but everybody else, including myself, coming into the pit lane here, a very, very straightforward call. It's going to be 4 tires and just fill the truck up with a feel here. Now, overall, I was happy with our stage 1 performance. We got a good feel for the truck. I was building confidence for the later parts of this race. Not sure how the pack's going to be, though, now that some trucks have some damage, though. But things are looking good at the end of stage 1, and we'll be right back here for the start of stage 2 from Daytona. Need a paint by chance? FRG Designs could be exactly what you are looking for, who has designed real-life paint schemes on trucks, as well as concepts, wallpapers that you might love here. He's done a lot of work for myself on the NASCAR Heat 5 series with paint schemes and does an incredible job. If you need a paint, FRG Designs might be exactly what you're looking for. Back from Daytona. I hope you guys enjoyed that little custom in-race ad that I made there, and I'm going to try to do that quite a bit throughout this series, make my little fun kind of custom things, and you're going to see one at the end of stage 2, but it's something you're definitely going to want to stick around for here as we get ready to go green for the start of stage 2 here, down in about 29th place, so not where we want to be, but we have a lot of time to go forwards as the green flag is out, and for the first time in this My Driver Series, it is time to get amped here from Daytona. Two laps in stage 2, and overall you can see a quite a bit of a difference here with the pack now that some trucks have picked up some damage inside the top 20, but a lot more calm now because there's not as many trucks that can hold on to that same pace, and it's going to be like that throughout the rest of this race, unfortunately. Here now, as you can see, as I'm passing Austin Wayne Self, you can see the damage there on that 22 truck as I was able to go by on the outside of him, as he is lacking a lot of horsepower in that truck. And that's the cool thing about this My Driver Series being on iRacing. You don't get second chances. If you damage the truck, car, whatever series we're in, and crash the car, well, you don't get to just go out and repair it and get back into the fight. We don't have fast repairs enabled. You're one and done, so there is a actual punishment for damaging our truck and car, and that just adds on to the just excitement and potential drama of this series. Now, unfortunately, there were some trucks that were really off the pace. As you can see, this pack was coming up on one, and I back out. I said, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't know how this pack was going to deal with this slow truck. And that's when I learned that for plate races in specific, as you can see, a huge check up on the inside. I'm just going to go around to the outside. Don't mind me. We're already closing in on the final few laps, by the way, of stage 2 as it comes to a close at the end of lap 24. We got back up into the top 10 almost, just not quite. But at plate races in specific, I am going to have to start disqualifying trucks that are way off the pace just to get them out of the way because they're a safety hazard. So I did do that towards the end of this race, you will notice as well. But now you can see on the final lap of stage 2 here now, as it was a very calm stage 2, not a lot happening. I was just kind of riding because the main goal now was I just wanted to make it to the end of the stage and then amp it up for the start of stage 3. Matt Crafton on the exit of turn 4 leads the way down the front straightaway. I'm just in front of Jay Cook. There was actually nearly an accident between Jay and Davin Cornelius that we'll highlight on here in just a moment, but Matt Crafton wins stage 2 here from Daytona now as we once again cycle through the top 10 to see what it is at the line, and then we're going to throw the caution here midway through 1 and 2 just to get the safest slowdown period possible for this AI. There's the caution right there, and once again we're going to bring it into the pit lane. No damage to this truck yet. We're doing a pretty good job, as you can see me pull completely off the track because there's trucks coming behind me as well that don't know how to slow down, as you can tell. So I let them go by, and fortunately now they start to slow down. They have a moment right there, and we just take an evasive maneuver, get into the grass, and thank goodness we don't get into an accident under caution. So we now, as you can see right here, through 3 and 4, this was coming to the checkered flag in stage 1. Cornelius and Cook actually made contact right there, got up into the outside wall, and fortunately they did not crash, and we were right behind it. If they would have came crashing down the track, we could have been potentially involved in that accident. But we come through into our pit box. I forgot to make a pit sign. I definitely got to do that. But 4 tires, once again, very, very easy call for the team, as well as just fill it up with fuel, as Michael Marutz has the very first stall in front of us there, as he looks like is going to do just fuel only. A bit of a surprising call there, but so far a calm race for us. Can we have the pace in stage 3 to put the fight for maybe our first win here in the truck series and just our first race at Daytona? We're going to get ready for the start of stage 3 now as we conclude the second stage. Matt Crafton and John Hunter Nemechek so far today are your stage winners. If you want to be one of the competitors in my Super Late Model series that's a part of this My Driver series, click the first link in the description and enter your name on this Google document that comes up on your screen. I will randomly choose names to be put into the roster for each season that we do of this series. So like I said, click the first link in the description, enter your name on the document. Back from Daytona, ready to go green for the start of stage 3, where the AI were acting very weird here. There was some trucks a lap down, so there was a bunch of trucks that were on the outside that weren't moving up. But you saw the ad right there that I put myself. You can sign up to be in the Super Late Model series to be along with some other content creators in the series as well. So stay tuned on how that works, but make sure to enter your name on that document here as we're underway for the start of stage 3, the final stage of our first race. Just over 20 laps to go, and the inside was not going because there was a truck leading the inside. Corey Roper, who had 0 pace, no power at all. There's Joey Stone, got messed over by that, as well as you see Todd Gilliland, a whole bunch of trucks now, and unfortunately we paid the price right off the bat because now we're behind Jennifer Jo Cobb and she's not able to keep up with the rest of the pack. So we have already lost connection to the main pack here in Daytona as I now make a maneuver to the right, go around the outside of that number 10, and then we're going to get back to the inside. But unfortunately, the damage is done. We do not have the draft from anybody in front of us. So unfortunate that we literally lost the draft on the first lap of stage 3, and that's just how the pack racing sometimes goes here with this AI in iRacing. So very, very unfortunate that it kind of worked out like that, but I wasn't losing hope. I was hopeful that we could still, of course, have a good run here as we would continue on with the night. As you can see, some trucks are starting to fade back towards us, so I was hoping that we were going to run them down, and it was tough. We would end up running down Michael Marutz, though, because he was actually quite a bit off the pace, so I decided to just tuck in behind him and maybe try to help him a little bit here now as I get right into the back of that number 48 truck. Very excited to see how Marutz progresses throughout this series along with myself, but he was so slow with just the damage on his truck that I would end up leaving him out as well, going around the outside and making a pass. And then surprisingly, a pack would run him down, and then they would actually all run me down here now on lap 35. So Michael Marutz is right back to us here now on this 35th lap. Joey Stone goes to the inside. He was helping Todd Gilliland as I get in behind them here to now draft with them as we come through 3 and 4. And then here comes to the outside the number 24 of Jack Wood a lap down. You're going to see other drivers in that 24 truck. Chase Elliott's going to do some truck races this season in that truck. So that's another thing that I really like about this series is we can just put whoever we want in any vehicle we want, and we can of course get some experience against some of these Cup Series drivers and champions and Xfinity drivers. We'll make of course some Xfinity starts this season as well, as we hope to be full-time Xfinity as soon as our second season of this My Driver Series. But now to lap 37, still pushing Todd Gilliland, but there was a slow truck in front of us. That was Corey Roper again. Now as I go to the outside to get around him, and just after this had happened, I actually went in and disqualified him from the session here. Now the 3 of Jordan Anderson's way off the pace, so this was an annoying thing to deal with here, but now like I said, in the future I definitely know that we have a disqualification key that we can use, or a hotkey, to get some of these slow trucks out of the race. There's, you see Ryan Truex was way off the pace, but everybody after they got through this traffic would continue to get linked back up in the draft, and we found ourselves once again in a big pack. Now here I am behind Joey Stone trying to give him a push, but I see 3 wide in the middle is available to push that 38 of Todd Gilliland, maybe get past Stone, but now actually we have a crash down the back straightaway. We're involved. The 3 of Jordan Anderson head on into the outside, while Cook involved as well. Jennifer Jo Cobb and myself piling into the door of the 3. The caution comes out in Daytona.
You okay, Gary?
Yeah, I'm fine. That was all on me.
Okay, just bring it to the pits. Caution's out. We might be done here.
There you see the replay, what happened. I just tagged the 38 of Gilliland, and he hit the 77 of Cornelius, and then my car bounced up, and then unfortunately when I was saving it, I hit Anderson, took him out, and then I actually locked up the brakes right there. I was just hoping to slow down instead of avoid him, and unfortunately I just drove right into the back of, or into the side of him. So we repaired what we could on the car, but we were so far off the pace that I couldn't even catch the pack by the time they had went green. So this stage 3 hasn't gone well for us, and that's just a part of the My Driver Series. Is you make mistakes, you're going to pay the price. It's not like any other NASCAR game we've ever played, so it's a very different animal, a lot more legit, and it's going to be a tough series, but I'm up for the battle as we bring it back to the pit lane, and that was the end of our day.
Pack it up, guys. It's done.
Just because our race was over, we had no speed to contend at that point. I could barely hit 150 miles per hour, but we had a rest of a race to watch, so we come straight through to the end of this race. It's the final lap here in Daytona. Derek Kraus leads the way on the inside. Matt O'Brien on the outside of the number 26 GMS Racing Chevrolet Silverado with help from Travis Brown in the 0-1. He's going to get to his back bumper down the back straightaway on the inside as well. You got that number 18 truck as Kraus tries to earn his first win of the season. Stuart Friesen there in P3 with his not correct paint scheme that we will get fixed here as soon as possible. But there it is. O'Brien to the outside with help from Brown. Is it going to be enough? Not through the center of the corner. It's Kraus who gets a nose on him as they come through to the exit of turn 4. Crafton's going to jump to the third lane just about. It's not going to work for him. It's going to be side by side down the front straightaway to the line. It looks like O'Brien has the edge now as Kraus fights back to the line. It's a photo finish in Daytona. I have no idea at that point who had won this race. It was so close. It was impossible to tell, and it ended up being scored as a tie. Derek Kraus wins the first race of the season in Daytona, but there you see the timing. It's a 0.000 second difference. In the first race of the My Driver Series, we have a scored tie for the win, but it's Kraus who's awarded with the victories. You see the rest of the finishing order. Not a great day for the content creators. Marutz had a rough day. I had a rough day, obviously. Davin Cornelius, but Travis Brown did strong there now. But that wasn't it. We have some Xfinity Series and Cup Series races to check on before we end this episode here. As you see, Michael Cozy Jr. in the 99 car there in the background, David Schulthouse in the number 20 in that Chevrolet Camaro now, as Joe Gibbs Racing has gotten rid of the number 20. Harrison Burton is driving the 19 car this season. This was the final lap in Daytona, and it was side by side to the line here now, as it was AJ Allmendinger winning in a photo finish again over Harrison Burton in the 19. Michael Cozy Jr., David Schulthouse, they didn't have the days they were looking for, but Shieldhouse ended up there inside of the top 10, as well as Cozy Jr. had a bit of a rough one there, a little bit further down the order. But very excited to see how Shieldhouse and Cozy end up doing as this series progresses, as well as they're one series ahead of us. Now, to the Daytona 500 final lap, Ryan Blaney makes a pass with help from Alfredo on Kyle Larson, and he would lead the way through 3 and 4. Keep in mind, this starts again back in the 2021 season, so Larson's first race with Hendrick Motorsports. Blaney, though, leads the way down the front straightaway. He would come through the tri-oval to win the Daytona 500 over Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin here. As what a set of series of racing we had overall in today's episode, as you see a quick run through of the finishing order there. But that does it for the first ever episode of this NASCAR My Driver Series. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this continues to lead my channel in the future. I want this to be the main series from here on out on my channel, and hopefully it does find the success to do that. What I've learned in the past is what to expect for this series. I don't expect this series to find a lot of success at the beginning, but as we continue to consistently crank it out over the coming months, I hope that this turns into a lengthy, successful series. If you guys enjoyed, let me know. Let me know in the comment section what you would maybe like to see added in terms of literally anything from graphics to just the races, anything. I would love to hear your feedback and really hope you enjoyed this first episode. In the next one, we have our second race at the Daytona Road Course. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you, of course, to the Go On Racing members who will be at the end of this episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.